hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so I was saying that the admissions process have different elements, and one of them is the GMAT. And the GMAT is known and is feared, I would say, by lots of people because it's quite a difficult test, to be honest, right? It's not because you're bilingual that you will be having a good score in verbal, or it's not because you have an engineering background, or if you're good at math, that you're going to have a great quant score. So what do we do when we are facing the GMAT is just to make sure that we're not taking into account the GMAT only when we do present an application to top MBA. Most of the schools, most of the top MBAs will actually tell you, well, you need to have a 700 plus GMAT. This is not true. If you have 700 plus on the GMAT, that's good for you. But if you have 610 or 620, for instance, you can still get admitted to a top MBA. And I'm going to tell you why and how, especially. Why? Because schools are looking for personalities. They're looking for profiles. They're not looking for 800 GMAT scores. They're looking for people who are going to contribute to the program. They're looking for people who have leadership skills as well. And this is not something that you can find on the GMAT. So, and I'm actually one of them, actually. So I didn't score 700 plus on the GMAT. But the fact that you're able to bring some skills that you have already will actually help you present an application where you don't have a 700 GMAT score. Why? How? Sorry. How? It's because you have to have great essays. Okay? This is very important that your essays are sharp and excellent. If you have 750 on the GMAT and your essays are bullshit, it's not going to work. It is not going to work. You will never get interviewed. If you have a 650 on the GMAT, for instance, and you have great and outstanding essays, then you'll get invited for the interviews. So you really have to pay attention to what you could bring and what you can do on the essays. Do not underestimate the essays. This is very, very important. So how you're going to write good essays. There are actually 5 or 6 elements that have to be part of your essays, that you have to show the admissions within your essays. The first one is that you have to show that you can have management skills. I said you can have, or you could have. If you don't manage people, you're still able to apply to a top MBA. The other element that would be your innovation skills. When I say innovation, I am talking about thinking out of the box. I'm not talking about technical or technological innovation. I'm talking about your ability to think out of the box. What is thinking out of the box, actually? Thinking out of the box means that, you have to know that the MBA is going to prepare you to think out of the box. And why? Because doing an MBA is going to prepare you, for most of us, to be top managers or CEOs or CX level, whatever. And you have to think out of the box. Sometimes you have case studies, you have situations, you have problems that you cannot really solve with the protocol way, I would say, to solve these issues. You have to think smart, you have to think different, you have to think out of the box. And this is what you have to show specifically in the essays. If you don't show that, you're done. The other skill that you must demonstrate in your essays is leadership. You don't have to be a leader to get admitted to top MBA, definitely not. But we all have experiences, we all have histories, we all have situations where we have proven leadership skills, okay? And this has to be in your essays. Do not forget to show the school that if you're not a leader today, you can have the potential to be a great leader. And this is going to be shown through the stories that you're going to write in your essays. The fourth element would be your ability to work in a team and with a team and within a team. Teamwork is key when you apply to a top MBA. If you don't write, if you don't talk, if you don't discuss teamwork abilities in your essays, you're also done. Why? Because during your MBA, you're going to be working with a group of participants of the MBA, and if you're not able to work with different people coming from different academic backgrounds or professional backgrounds or cultural backgrounds that are different than yours, if you don't show that, it's not going to work either. So teamwork is also one of the main points that you have to show in your essays. Last element, I would say, is about contribution. Most of people, when you tell them, well, why do you want to do a top MBA? Why do you want to go to INSEAD, for instance, or why do you want to go to Stanford? Well, most of them would say, well, because there are great schools, because I'm going to have a great network, or because I live just next door. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not going to work either. What you have to show to the school that it is not because you're giving a check and that you got admitted that you're not going to contribute. You have to show, you have to say, you have to tell the school that you are going to be a big contributor. You have to bring your suitcase with you and say, well, okay, I need this MBA, but the school, the participants, my class, my promotion is also going to take advantage to benefit from my own personal and professional experiences. They're going to also benefit from my own network and also going to benefit from my personality as well. So these are the things that you are able and willing and you must bring to the school. So this is why I always say focus on the GMAT, that's good, but give a great importance to the essays, because this is what is going to save, I would say, or compensate an average GMAT score. Okay? Next element, we're talking here about the interviews. So I'm talking about the MBA attitude. Most people, when they come to Cours Colbert, for instance, and they come to prepare themselves for the interviews, they're almost begging their seat to get admitted. This must not happen. Once you are invited for the interviews, that means that the school likes you, that the school is interested in you. So do not beg to get admitted, okay? You are going to give 50 or 60 or 100,000 euros of dollars to the school in exchange of some things, but you also have to show the schools that you are also a good fit for the school, that you're also going to be beneficial to the school. And there are also other schools that would like to have you on their board as well. Okay, so do not beg, have the MBA attitude. How you could have the MBA attitude? First of all, by knowing how to present yourself. This is actually one of the first, well, it's actually the first question, but it's actually one of the most important. Many people do not know how to present themselves. If most of the time you tell them, well, can you please, okay, introduce yourself, present yourself. So most of the people would say, well, I am Riyad Hamida and I'm 38 and I work in blah, blah, blah. No, this is not the way you present yourself during an MBA interview. Okay, it's not going to work. How you do not beg your seat, or how you show the school that you could be a good benefit for the school. Most of the people would say to the question, well, I can see that you have applied to both HEC and LBS. So let's imagine that this is a great day today and you got admitted to both schools, to both LBS and HEC. And we'll tell you, okay, which one would you choose? Okay, so I am LBS and I'm asking you the question, which one would you choose? Would you choose LBS or HEC? If you say LBS, well, it's not going to, I mean, you're not convincing me that you're the right fit. Okay, you have to show motivation, but it's not the right way to show motivation that you want to get admitted to LBS. If you say HEC, obviously you're done. Okay, you're not going to get admitted. So there's a way to show the interviewer that you're greatly motivated to get admitted to his school, but do not say bad things or do not think or do not put forward that the other school, which is HEC in this case, is not the right fit for you, okay? And this question actually, guys, choosing, I mean, asking you to choose or which one you would choose is actually a scholarship question, okay? Let's suppose that, again, I am LBS and you tell me that you want to come to LBS. Well, if I think that you're a good profile for the school, I would definitely have you sit. But why would I give you money? Why would I give you a scholarship if you, anyway, you're coming to the school, okay? The only reasons, well, one of the only reasons the schools give scholarship, it's because they like someone and that someone might go to or is going to go to another top MBA. So I need to give an incentive to that person to come to my school, and that incentive most of the time is a scholarship. Okay, so if you say, well, don't worry, man, I mean, I'm going to go to LBS because I love it, because I like it, because blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to accept you, I'm going to have you, but I'm not going to give you any money. Okay, I'm going to give the money to someone who might not come to my school because we want it, or we want him or her anyway. The MBA attitude as well is about telling them, how would I say it? I mean, answering a question to about leadership, for instance. If many times the question about leadership comes up, and we ask you, are you a leader? Okay, so are you a leader is a tricky question. If you say yes, I am a leader, well, it's not going to work. Okay, the best way to say to the person that you're a leader is to answer that question by saying, well, you can ask, or you should ask, or maybe the more qualified people to say if I'm a leader or not is the people I work with. Okay? By saying that, you're already showing that you're a leader. Okay? So these are very tricky questions that you have to know have to know how to answer these questions during the interviews, because if you say, well, of course I'm a leader, that's why I'm here, you're done. Okay? Or that can be very dangerous. The main and most important questions I would say during the interview is about why an MBA and why the school. Okay, so why the school? It's about, you know, as I said, management, innovation, leadership, teamwork, and contribution. These has to come in the interviews as well, not the same way as it would come during the, writing your essays, but it has to come in a different way during the interviews. But it has to come. It must come. Okay. The MBA attitude is also saying why you really need this MBA. Okay. If you show the interviewer that you're going to a target, okay, you have an aim, you have an objective, and the only way to get to that objective is the MBA, it's not going to please the interviewer. Okay. The MBA is a tool. The MBA is a way to go to that objective, okay? And you have to show that during the interviews. You have to show that the MBA is going to help you get new skills or sharpen existing skills. You're going to get a network. You're going to get not an expertise about marketing or finance, but it's going to help you understand the words, I would say, the worlds of marketing or finance, okay? But you're never going to be an expert of marketing or finance by doing an MBA, okay? Last but not least is the scholarship. do I qualify for a scholarship? As I said, the scholarship is only going to be given to people who deserve it and who show that they deserve it. How you can deserve a scholarship? And most of the time, the scholarships that are available at top MBAs, they are not need-based scholarship. Okay, you have need-based scholarship, but most of the time they are not needs-based. Okay, they are excellence scholarship. Okay, what does that mean? It means that you have to show a good GMAT, you have to show great essays, and you have to show during the interviews that you deserve, or I mean the school likes you, but it's her turn to also seduce you. Okay, you are people going to put on the table, as I said, 50 or 60K, okay, or even more for US MBA. So it's also the job of the school to show you that it likes you and that she wants you, okay? And the only way for her to seduce you is also to give you a scholarship. Do you have any question about what I've just said? You can type questions if you want, and I can answer the question to everyone. You have to open the question box, actually, if you want to ask questions.
Thank you. Hello?
Yes, hi.
I just have one question about the GMAT.
Yeah.
I'm from Lebanon, and the GMAT is not a requirement, it's not a basic requirement to get accepted to the MBA here. So I haven't done my GMAT, I just only have my MBA in management.
Okay.
So do I have to do the test, or?
If it's not, you're saying that it is not a requirement, but can you take it? I mean, do they allow people to take it or not?
Actually, this is the first time I hear about the GMAT as a requirement to get accepted into an MBA program. That's why I'm asking you. So here it's not a must.
Okay. So if it's not a must, I mean, if it's something optional, you should take it. Definitely, because it would definitely put your file on the top of the pile. Okay,
okay, this is my question.
Yes, okay, because taking the GMAT is not easy. So showing the school that you have taken the GMAT, it would show it that you're really motivated to get admitted and to actually be different from the crowd.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have another question here. Sakshi is asking me, in my essays, should I be writing blah, blah, blah? This is how my leadership skills are demonstrated. No. No. What I'm saying is that you have to talk about leadership or thinking out of the box or contribution. You have to tell stories. You have to tell experiences. Okay? You have to talk about your personal or professional. Most of the time, it's better to talk about professional experiences in your essays, more than personal, okay? So not saying, well, this is how I am showing leadership. No, the story itself should tell me when I read it that you have demonstrated leadership skills. Okay. Okay, so I have another question by Sakshi as well. How do you suggest I should start the conversation when I'm asked, tell us something about you? Well, this is the same question as present yourself. Okay, so presenting yourself is very difficult for lots of people, but it's actually very easy. Okay, again, don't state your name again or where you were born or where you live. We don't give a damn about this. Okay, the way you should present yourself is the following. You say, well, you start with your CV actually. Okay, I'm not saying that you should talk about your CV. I'm saying that you take elements from your CV in order to present yourself. So the first thing that you should say on this question is the degree that you have, the main degree or the main diploma that you have. Okay, I have a degree in, or I am graduated in blah 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 from that school. And then you should talk about your first professional experience. Okay, first of all the degree and then your first professional experience. I am not talking about the internships. Internships do not count. Okay, even in your CVs, when you submit them in your application, you should not talk about your internships. Okay, so first degree, second first professional experience, and third your last professional experience, I mean your current professional experience. Again, first degree, second first professional experience, and third your current professional experience. And this is a good way to start the discussion on why you want to do an MBA. Okay, this is a good transition to why an MBA. Okay, let me check other questions. Okay, I have Sharif Masood. He's saying to me, hello, I'm a dentist. Do I qualify? The answer is yes, definitely. You're part of the people who have a kind of atypical profile, and schools, top MBAs love it. As long, again, as you show why this MBA is going to help you get to your midterm or short-term or long-term goal. Okay? If you're a dentist, for instance, and you want to get into big pharmaceutical companies in business, yes, you would probably need an MBA, and this is the way you should also tell the schools why you want an MBA. Okay, so yes, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're, I mean, in my promotion, there were actually people from the army, there was a dancer as well. So yes, you do qualify for an MBA, my friend. Okay, Alia Shah is asking me what is the range of typical scholarships. It can go from zero, obviously, to full tuition. Okay, but the average, I would say, would be between 5,000 and 40,000. Okay, 5 and 40,000. This is the typical range for scholarships. The other thing that you have to know that the MBAs in the States, most of the time, they do not give you money, right? Only they actually ask you to work for the school. Okay, so in exchange of a discount on the tuition fees, you have to work for the school. I mean, working for the school is being, I don't know, kind of assistant to a teacher or working at the library. It's not the case for European MBAs. I mean, HEC or INSEAD, for instance, or LBS, they just discount the tuition fees at the end of the year. Okay. Okay. Anna Marie Litar is asking me, how can I compensate having little work experience? Little work experience, if it's under 3 years of experience, you cannot apply to a top MBA. You should not apply to top MBA. You have to have at least 3 years of experience at the intake. Okay? What I'm saying is that if you're preparing for the GMAT or USAs, I mean the application, you have to have 3 years when the program starts. Okay, this is a minimum. You have other MBAs that would actually take you, have you sit if you have less than 3 years, that they are not top MBAs. How relevant, Sakshi is asking how relevant is work experience. I don't know how, I don't understand this question. As I said, 3 years of experience is the minimum. Maybe if you work, for instance, in the same company for years, okay, and still at the same level of responsibilities, still the same function, still the same job, it's not going to work. Okay, the MBA is not going to like it. The top MBAs want to have people who had to have people who got promoted, who got more responsibilities in the time. Sedisho Kuzawo is asking me, does it help when your family member is an alumni? No, it doesn't help. I would actually even strongly suggest that you do not use that family member as a reason why you want to do an MBA or even for a letter of recommendation. Okay? Do not use family to recommend you for applying to an MBA. Philippe Linares is asking me, hi, is there a certain age range to qualify? Well, yes. Less than 24, 25 is going to be difficult. More than 34, 35 max, depending on the MBAs, is going to be difficult as well. Okay, so the range would be 25, 34 for full-time MBAs. More than that, you would qualify for an executive MBA. Less than that, you can't qualify for top MBA. Okay. So Clémence, yes, hi Clémence, I know Clémence. What kind of professional projects are more likely to be regarded as good matches by most MBAs? Again, the professional projects where you have shown leadership, where you have shown contribution, where you have shown innovation, these are the professional projects that are going to be scrutinized by the MBAs. Okay, Abdelhamid Mitwali is asking me, can I still get accepted to a top MBA if I'm not currently at a managerial level? Yes, you can. And let me tell you that many people who got admitted to top MBAs do not have a managerial position. Okay, you don't have to manage tens of people to qualify for a top MBA. Matthias Brzezinski is asking me, does it make a difference whether to apply in round 1, 2, or 3? Yes, at some point. At Cours Colbert, for instance, we don't care to apply for round 1 or 2 or 3. Why? Because we believe that a good profile is a good profile, whether you apply to round 1, 2, or 3. The only thing that changes is the scholarship. Definitely the last round or the round before last is going to be very difficult for you to have a scholarship because the money, it's all gone, okay? So you can't have, it's possible, but it's a lot more difficult to get money out of the school for the last round. Otherwise, it makes no difference if you apply to round 1, 2, or 3. Of course, if you can apply to round 1, do it, okay? Do not take the risk, okay? But if you can't, that's fine. Okay, so Carolina Espinosa is asking me, when are the essays taking place? Am I talking about the GMAT essay or the MBA application essay? Yes, I'm talking about the MBA application essay. Okay, so you have to submit the application with your GMAT, your essays, your letter of recommendation, and your TOEFL score as well. Okay, Elvin is asking me, what about dual programs like Global MBA program and ACA, getting 2 different internationally recognized degrees simultaneously? Do you know such programs? Yes, we do. The only benefit from doing a dual program is going to be the network. Okay, you'll be able to have the network from A school and going to have the network from B school. That's the only benefit, guys. okay, because the classes are going to be the same. The content of the classes or what you're going to be taught is definitely going to be the same. It's not going to change. But if you're smart enough, if you're very smart, because you're going to be an MBA, you're going to take advantage of having two networks from two different schools, and sometimes 2 degrees are actually not on the same continent of the same country, so you're definitely going to have a benefit from having this network. Okay, Tulani Kadash is asking me, when I apply, let's say, to an American university, will I have my interview over the internet, or will they arrange something with the university, maybe here in South Africa? Okay, that's a good question. What we do at Cours Colbert is that we strongly advise our students to go and meet the schools when or if possible themselves before they even apply. Okay, this is not going to, this is not answering your question, Tulani, but that reminds me of this. Okay, try to go and meet people. Try to go and shake hands. Try to go and say, hey, I'm going to apply to your school. My name is Riyad, blah, blah, blah. Okay? For the interviews, if the school has no alumni in the region or area or country or city where you are, yes, you're going to be able to arrange an interview through the phone or through, yes, through the phone or through Skype. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Boris is saying, could you please clarify again about competition between schools for the good student? It looks a bit dangerous. I don't understand the question, Boris. Can you please state the question again? Okay. Anna Maria Litar is asking, do employers also look at your GMAT? Depends on the employers. Definitely strategy consulting companies such as McKinsey, Bain, BCG, these big strategy consulting companies are definitely going to look at your GMAT. Okay? It doesn't mean that they're only going to hire 700 plus GMAT people. Okay? They hire 600-ish people as well. Okay? But this is something of interest. If you want to work for McKinsey, for instance, you have to have a good GMAT score, my friend. Definitely this is something that most of the time is going to be important to them. Okay, so Alexandros, I'm going to read your long question. About being a leader, you said that you mustn't say that you need an MBA to get to your goal. Then you said that you must show that it'll give you skills to get to your goal. So what we say? Okay, so what I'm saying is that you have you here, and then there you have what you want to do with your MBA. Okay, I don't know. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to go to strategy consulting, whatever. Okay, but what you have to know is that you don't. If you say, well, I must get an MBA to get to my long-term objective, for instance, you're wrong. Because then the interviewer will tell you, well, most of the people in your situation don't have an MBA. Okay? Most of the successful entrepreneurs, they don't have an MBA. Okay? So this is why I'm talking about the MBA as a tool. Okay? To gain skills, the MBA is going to help you get an overall or bigger vision of how a company works. It's going to help you have a more global vision of a company. But if you say, well, the MBA is going to make me successful in that specific area, no. Okay, it's going to help you. It's not going to make you a great entrepreneur. It's going to help you, first of all, understand how a company works, and then you'll be able to probably be a good entrepreneur. Okay, as I said, most of the successful, I don't know, maybe 99% of the successful entrepreneurs do not have an MBA. Anne Maria is asking me, how important is your LinkedIn when applying to an MBA? That's a very good question, and it's going to give me the opportunity to talk about social network. You have to have your LinkedIn ready and clean and professional when you apply to a top MBA, because the schools are looking to your LinkedIn profile. The schools are looking to your Facebook. as well. So watch out. We had once a lady who was willing to apply to a top MBA, and when we did start work with her, we found out that one of the main pictures on her Facebook was not decent picture, okay? And it was very, very dangerous, because actually she went to the school to present herself, to tell them that she wants to apply to their school, and then they told her afterwards, well, you did well to take the picture out from your Facebook, because the picture was not good. So yes, be careful. Make sure that your LinkedIn or your Facebook are clean.
We are sorry to interrupt you. Sorry. Just want to tell you that we have 3 minutes. We are recording all the questions and we'll answer them after the webinar is over.
Okay. Okay, fine. Let me take, where is the question that I had? Okay, so Rachel is asking me concerning the GMAT, what is minimum average to get admitted? There's no minimum average. You know, I mean, there are people who went to Harvard, who got admitted to Harvard with 430 GMAT because they were GIs, for instance, or Marines. Okay, so, but to answer your question, I would say the minimum average would be, well, don't try to apply to a top MBA with less than 620 or 630. Okay, Harvard, Wharton, Columbia, if you have less than 650, it's going to be dangerous and difficult. Okay, Shatanu is asking me, do top MBA colleges only look for excellent academics while awarding scholarships? No, they are actually looking only at your MBA application. That's it, okay? But obviously, if you have good academics, I'm not saying that this is going to qualify you for a scholarship, but it's going to help, okay? Sonia, once the school offers you a scholarship, but is way far from what you estimated or expected, could you negotiate better terms? No, do not do that. If you negotiate a scholarship, you're out, okay? You negotiate with your bank or with your parents, but do not negotiate a scholarship with a school. It's very dangerous. Tulani, is it possible that you compile all these precautionary measures that we bear in mind or such things when we go about applying for the MBA? Yeah, just send me an email. Josiane, if I was asked if I'm an expert in my field, yes. If you are really, yes, you can say I'm an expert, but I still have things to learn. Natalia, can you please send me, it's a very, very long question, can you please send me your question or I will answer to it afterwards. Okay. George Cesar, is having international certificates in different fields will have to be accepted in MBA. Yes, it will, but it's not a guarantee that it's going to be definitely helping you to get admitted, okay? Can I write about my social activities in essay? Good question from Alan. Alan, yes, you can write as long as your social activities show that it demonstrates leadership or teamwork. If you guys work in NGOs, for instance, this is definitely the place where you have to talk about the NGO. If you guys do NGO, one of the letters of recommendation has to come from that NGO, okay? If you have 2 letters of recommendation, one of them must come from the NGO. This is a good and very good point that you're showing to the school. Okay, George saying, is there a cheap top MBA? No, if it's cheap, it's not a top MBA. Mullen, some schools require 5, 6, 7 essays. How to include the 5 key points you have mentioned without repeating oneself? It's not very difficult actually to mention the points that I have mentioned. I mean, when you ask why INSEAD, for instance, well, you say one of the reasons I want to go to INSEAD is because I have met people who did the MBA, and one of the key things that they have shown is that it was full of contribution, okay? And the school looks into contribution, for instance. Okay, and this is exactly why I want to do an MBA at INSEAD, because contribution is important to me. Okay, so, and you could talk about 2 or 3 elements of the 5 key points that I've given you only in the question why an MBA or why INSEAD. Ana Maria, what's worse when applying? Too many internships or too many low-ranked jobs? Both are worse. Working in supermarkets, you don't put that in a CV or in an application. Okay, and we don't talk about your internships. They don't care. David, same. It's quite a long question. Please send it to me, or I'll answer it afterwards. Sashi, am I eligible if I have no prior professional work experience? No, you are not eligible if you have less than 3 years. Giuseppe, do people who have a master's degree in a subject like economics or business administration related subject go to MBA schools? Yes, a lot of them. Can you please, Simpiwe Madlanga, with the GMAT scores, how long do they remain relevant, recognized, even one does not immediately apply after passing it? It's actually valid for 5 years. Okay, the GMAT is valid for 5 years. Rachel, I do not see your question, sorry. Sheriff, I'm a dentist, who can give me recommendation letters? Probably one customer and probably one of your suppliers as well. Okay? Anna Marie, is experience in Model United Nations worth mentioning? Yes, it is. Because again, this is something that is different from what they actually most of the time read. Alia, who would you recommend to address for reference letters? The reference letters, the recommendation letters have to come from people who know you, have to come from people who work with you or worked with you. Okay? If you work for IBM, for instance, and you have a letter of recommendation from the CEO of IBM who does not know you, that letter of recommendation is not going to work, and it's going to be very harmful for you. It's very dangerous. The letters of recommendation have to come from people who know you, who you work with. One thing about the letter of recommendation: the letter of recommendation is not something that has to say, for instance, Alia, you're a great person, you're great at this, you're great at that, you're such a wonderful person. No, it is not a letter of recommendation for a job. It is an MBA letter of recommendation. An MBA letter of recommendation is a place where you say, Alia is good at this, but she's not very good at that. And the not very good at that has to be chosen specifically as something that the MBA is going to cure. Okay, the drawbacks that you may have in your profile, in your application, or in your personality have to be put in the letter of recommendation. But at the same time, has to be something that the MBA can help you solve or correct. Chatanu, how to compensate for not so extraordinary graduation grades? A good GMAT. Philippe, can the leadership stories come from a student association? No, the leadership stories from oh yeah, I got a question. Yes, it can. Yes, definitely it can, Philippe. Yes. Okay, what is the due date to send my application? This is a question from Josiane. Josiane Haddad. It depends on the round. It depends on the deadline of the school. Matthias, what are the total costs for a top US 2-year MBA, including typical travel expenses? You should count about $150 to $200K. Okay. Okay, Boris, I mean during the interview at school you told about it in relation with scholarship. Okay, yes. So when you are asked which one you would choose, okay, which school you would choose between HEC and INSEAD, obviously you have to be very careful answering this question. Okay, so when you ask this question, the way you have to answer this question is, okay, listen, the MBA for me is not something that I have decided to do 2 weeks ago. Okay, this is doing an MBA. This is the result of a long reflection. Okay, and applying to INSEAD and HEC is also the result of my meetings with the people from these schools, with my meetings with alumni of these schools, and applying to these schools is not something that I did by chance. Okay, so I have thought about it very carefully. And I found out that both schools can answer what I'm waiting from a school. However, I would say that HEC might be a better fit for me if it is HEC that is asking the question. If it's INSEAD asking the question, you should say, well, I found out that INSEAD might be a better fit for me, okay? But I'd be more than happy to answer this question when I am in that situation. This is how you answer this question. Tulani, how long should the MBA essay be? Is there minimum, maximum length? Yes, and for each essays, for each school, you have the minimum and, well, you have the maximum number of words for each essays. Anna Maria, is it a plus to make a website of yourself? No, it's not. Josiane, I'm a registered nurse and I also earn a BA in management. Do I qualify? Yes, if you tell the school why the MBA would be useful for you in your future career. Matthias, suppose I had bad grades at college but a brilliant career afterwards in professional life. Could that ruin my chance of being applied to a top MBA? No. Again, there's in each school, for each school, there's an essay, an optional essay where the school asks you, do you have something to tell us that we did not ask? Okay, and this is the place where you have to talk about your bad grades. You have to talk about something that is bad in your profile. You have to let the school know, because if you let the school find out about it, it's going to be bad. Okay? George, if I'm not good in math, what I should do in GMAT? You should work very hard. Most of us are not good at math, but it's probably going to take time. But again, the math in GMAT is not all the math. Okay, the GMAT does not test you on all the mathematics. You should focus on what is going to be tested, and also make sure that you use an error log. Okay, so you know exactly where you make mistakes and why you make mistakes. Is that a question of time? Is that a question of concept that you do not master, or is that careless errors as well? Use an error log. There are full of them in the internet. Or drop me an email and I'll send you one. Naris, hello Riyad. How Cours Colbert could help me to be admitted in MBA? Nargis, I think I've been talking about this for an hour, and I'll be happy to talk about it more if you want, via email or phone. That's not a problem. Sakshi, should I be mentioning my co-curricular interests in my essays or application, like dancing, art, blogging? Yes, you can, if it is something that you are doing seriously or doing for years. If you are doing competition in any sports, for instance, you should talk about it in your essays. Yes. Abdelhamid, can the letter of recommendation from someone who has worked with me but is not in my company? As long as that someone has worked with you, supervising you, okay, even if it's not in the same company anymore, it works. If it's someone who has worked with you but did not supervise you, it's not going to work. Rachel, how long do you evaluate the preparation for an admission at Cours Colbert? It depends on you, actually. So what we do is we do a diagnostic of your level of GMAT, and we then tell you how many hours you would need, and depends on the deadline that you're targeting as well. So I'll be more than happy, Rachel, to answer more properly, actually, more personalized way to your question. Teshido, do you stand a better chance if you come from Africa, where there aren't many applications received in that geography? That's a very good question. It's not better chance, but schools are looking for diversity. Schools are looking for people who come from lots of countries. If you're let's suppose that there is only one seat available. I am Tunisian myself, and if you're from South Africa, for instance, you'd have better chances to get admitted at an equivalent level, okay, or equivalent profile. If there's one seat available and there's me and a woman, the woman would get admitted, not me. Okay? So yes, this is going to help you coming from Africa for an exact same profile. Natalia, what is more important when preparing essays? To show how you fit the school or how the school fits your goals? Both, actually. It's a very good question. You have to show why you can be a benefit for the school and why the school is going to be beneficial to you as well. Okay, and that's actually why it is very difficult to write good essays. Good question, Natalia. Abdelhamid, question about letter of recommendation. It's quite long. Please contact me later. Abraham, can I qualify for a straight PhD program with bachelor's degree and professional qualification? Yes, yes, of course. And you're actually part of the people that the MBAs are going to look for. Definitely. Atypical, atypical profiles, the school will love them as long, again, as you know how to present a good application. George, yeah, your email, George. Please, George, email Prep Advisor with your email, and I'll get in touch. Okay, next. Tulani, does a letter from your supervisor from previous universities help as part of your reference? No, if you are working, if you have a job, and for more than 3 years, or at least 3 years, you should have a letter of recommendation coming from your professional contacts, not from the school. It shouldn't come from university. It shouldn't be a teacher. Alan, is it the good idea to write in my essay that I help to my friend with his coffee shop at my free time? Communication with customers, selling of coffee, and so on. No, it's a very bad idea, Alan. Okay, you're applying to a top MBA, not for an internship. So we don't care. The school is not going to see you as good profile because you help your friend working in a coffee shop. No. Anna Maria, do MBA schools make a difference between 1-year-long master degrees and 2-year-long master degrees? Yes, they do. Definitely. Carolina, does a PhD count as professional experience? Yes, it does count. Josiane, relocating is a must if I get accepted to one of the schools. I don't get the question. Sorry. Alan. No. Rachel, and concerning the letters of recommendation, is it a problem if the supervisor doesn't work anymore at the company referred to? No, it's not a problem at all. No more questions. Iliana, Marine? Hello?
Hello, Riyad. Okay, thank you very much for the question, the answers of all these questions. We have recorded them all, so we will answer via email after the webinar.
Yes, please do not hesitate to contact me.
Okay, thank you very much again for your attendance tonight, and for everyone who were online during our webinar. That's all from us. Thanks.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.